A very good morning to dear students. I am Dr. Makala Gandhi, Assistant Professor of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Tirupattur. Dear students, today I would like to teach you about cost and revenue concepts. Before moving to different types of costs and types of revenue, let us first learn the meaning of cost and revenue. What is meant by cost? Cost refers to the total expenditure incurred by a business in the production of goods and services. Then what about revenue? Revenue refers to the total income or earnings generated by a business from selling goods or services. Now here we have the meaning and need and significance of cost. Just before I have told you the meaning of cost. The term cost refers to expenditure, the total expenditure which is incurred in a business of production of goods and services or production of a commodity. Then why should we study about cost and learn about significance of cost? There are four important things for which we need to learn about cost and significance of cost. The first one is to fix price of a product. The second one is to find out whether a particular investment should be made or not to be made. And the third one is to determine the profit of the firm. The last one to determine whether a commodity is worth producing at given cost or not. So these are the four important things. The first one is to fixing or determining the price of a product. The second one is whether the investment should be made or not. The third one is the profit. How do we determine the profit for a firm? And the last one is whether commodity is really worth producing at given cost. Sometimes the cost may be higher. In that case, a producer might think whether to go ahead to produce such commodity or to give up the production of that commodity. Here we have how do we calculate the cost or what is the cost function. The functional relationship between cost and output is expressed as cost function. See, we have discussed about production function also. In production function, the relationship is discussed between inputs and outputs. But now, here in this context, we are discussing about the relationship between cost and output, where it is written like this. C is equal to F refers to function of quantity or output. Let us see. C is equal to function of quantity. C is equal to cost and Q is equal to quantity of outputs produced, and F refers to the functional relationship. Now let us discuss something about determinants. What are those determinants of cost production? The cost production mainly depends upon the size of the plant. The second one is the level of production. The third one, the nature of technology being used. Next, the quantity of inputs used, managerial and labor efficiency. These are all the very important determinants that play a very vital role in deciding let us move the cost of major concepts and classifications of cost. The first one is money cost. What is money cost? Money cost or nominal cost is the total money expenses incurred by a firm in producing a commodity. The second one is real cost. Real cost is a subjective concept. Real cost refers to the payment made to the compensate the efforts and sacrifices of the factor owners for their services in production. The third one is explicit costs. Explicit costs are the payments made by the entrepreneur to the suppliers of various productive factors. Then what about implicit costs? It is quite opposite to explicit. The money rewards for the own services of the entrepreneur and the factors owned by himself and employed in production are known as implicit costs or imputed costs. Now, what is economic cost then? Economic cost refers to all payments made to the resources owned and purchased or hired by the firm in order to ensure their regular supply to the process of production. Then social costs. It refers to the total cost borne by the society due to the production of commodity. It is very important cost. Opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost refers to the cost of next best alternative use. In other words, it is the value of next best alternative that you give up when making a choice. It expresses the benefits you could have gained if you had chosen different option. It refers to its cost of foregoing one option to pursue another. For example, if you decided to spend money on a vacation, the opportunity cost could be the investment you could have made with the money, such as saving it for further use or buying something else. Next, sunk cost. What is sunk cost? It is a cost incurred in the past and which cannot be recovered in the future again, and it is therefore known as sunk cost. What about floating cost then? Floating cost refers to all expenses which are directly associated with business activities but not with asset creation. Then moving to prime cost. It includes all costs that vary with output together with the cost of administration. It is formally known as prime cost. Yes, fixed cost. What is fixed cost? Costs that do not change with the level of production. Very simple. Costs that do not change with the level of production. That means they are fixed. There is no modification or changes made in the cost of production. Therefore, it is known as fixed cost. Then what about variable cost? Variable costs are those costs that vary with the level of output. For example, raw materials, labor, etc. So variable costs can vary whenever there is a change in the level of output. Surely there leads to variable costs during process of production. With this, Dear students, we conclude different types of costs, then the meaning of costs. Then when we come back in the next class, we will discuss about the revenue. Already I told you what is revenue. Revenue means the total income or earnings generated by a business from selling goods or services. So when we come back in the next class, we will discuss much more about the revenue and other aspects related to revenue concept. Thank you, dear students. Thank you once again. See you in next class.